Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into South Africa's political landscape and unpack the stories shaping our democracy. Today, we're exploring a powerful and controversial claim that former President Jacob Zuma is the single most influential figure behind the hemorrhaging of the ANC's voter base over the past 15 years. This isn't just about the 2024 election losses. It's about a long, painful, and well-documented unraveling of the once dominant African National Congress, a party that led South Africa to liberation, but is now facing an identity crisis, internal splits, and a shrinking support base. In the aftermath of the 2024 national and provincial elections, many headlines focused on the ANC's dramatic fall to just around 40% of the national vote. But very few have taken the time to examine the deeper historical roots of this decline. Let's unpack how the seeds of the ANC's electoral collapse were planted as far back as 2007, and how Jacob Zuma became the common thread running through every major split, every major loss, and every major scandal. Let's rewind to the ANC's 2007 Polokwane National Conference. This was the turning point, the moment when Jacob Zuma defeated then-President Thabo Mbeki for control of the party. It was a highly contested and emotionally charged conference. But the real impact of that event was the start of what would become a slow and steady bleeding of the ANC's voter base. In the 2009 national elections, the ANC won again, but it was the first time we saw a noticeable decline in support. And this was no coincidence. That same year, a group of disgruntled ANC leaders, largely loyal to Mbeki and angered by the Polokwane outcome, broke away to form the Congress of the People, or COPE. In the 2009 election, COPE snatched 1.3 million votes from the ANC. That wasn't a small rebellion. It was the beginning of a pattern. Fast forward to 2012. Julius Malema, once a fierce Zuma ally and firebrand president of the ANC Youth League, was expelled from the party. In response, he founded the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF. In the 2014 general elections, the EFF secured over 1 million votes, and by 2019, that number had grown to nearly 1.9 million votes. Once again, the ANC was bleeding support, not to some random opposition, but to movements born directly out of its internal strife. And guess who was at the center of that storm? Jacob Zuma. Now, to truly understand this hemorrhaging, you also need to look at labor movements. In 2014, during Zuma's presidency, Cosatu, the ANC's powerful trade union ally, expelled its own General Secretary Zwelinzima Vavi, and later NAMSA, its largest affiliate. The cracks in the tripartite alliance, made up of the ANC, Cosatu, and the SACP, widened dramatically. Cosatu, which once stood firmly behind Zuma during the Polokwane battle, now found itself betrayed, disillusioned, and fragmented. By the 2017 Nasrec conference, things had worsened. Zuma, nearing the end of his presidency, backed Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, his ex-wife and a KZN candidate, to take over from him. But Cyril Ramaphosa, his then deputy, narrowly won. This left the ANC divided down the middle heading into the 2019 elections. Though the ANC held on to power, it did so with an even smaller mandate and a leadership riddled with factionalism. By this point, multiple breakaway parties and organizations had emerged, all with one thing in common: they were reactions to Zuma's leadership style, his political patronage network, or his influence over ANC structures. And then came the final blow, the formation of the MK party in 2023. Zuma, now openly attacking the ANC from the outside, declared war on the party he once led. He claimed it had strayed from its liberation ideals. But critics argue that it was Zuma's own presidency that catalyzed the ANC's moral and organizational decay, through state capture, factionalism, and the weakening of democratic institutions. In the 2024 general elections, Zuma's Umkhonto we Sizwe party, MKP, stunned analysts by pulling 2.5 million votes, largely from KwaZulu-Natal. That's a province the ANC had historically struggled to dominate, except during Zuma's tenure as president. In fact, the only times the ANC clearly won KZN were during Zuma's presidency and the first term of Ramaphosa, when Zuma still campaigned for the ANC. So if we step back and look at the bigger picture, we begin to see a devastating pattern. First came COPE, formed after Zuma rose to power, 1.3 million votes lost. Then EFF, formed after Malima's expulsion, nearly 2 million votes lost. Next, the fragmentation of Cosatu and NAMSA, leading to the formation of new worker-led movements. Finally, MKP, Zuma's own party, 2.5 million votes gone from the ANC column. That's over 4 million votes lost cumulatively, just from internal breakaways tied to Zuma. Some argue that blaming one man is simplistic, and yes, there were other factors. The economy struggled. Corruption allegations spread beyond Zuma. Service delivery failures and youth unemployment soared. But still, the common denominator throughout this 15-year period of decline is Jacob Zuma. He didn't just hurt the ANC while inside it, he returned to destroy it from the outside, stripping away its legitimacy, unity, and grassroots support. And the irony? Zuma has always claimed to be defending the ANC's revolutionary soul, even as he stood on the front line of its disintegration. For young voters and political analysts alike, understanding this history is crucial. The ANC's fall was not sudden. It wasn't just about 2024. It was systematic, slow-burning, and deeply personal. As we approach the next chapter in South Africa's political history, the big question is, can the ANC recover? Or is this the beginning of a permanent realignment in South African politics? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree that Zuma is the main cause of the ANC's decline? Or is that letting the rest of the party leadership off the hook? If you found this breakdown informative, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our deep dives into South African politics. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.